Hey everybody, welcome to the Faith and Fandom podcast. This is Hector Mirai, and today I'm also joined with Todd Turner of Mosaic Fan Art.
Woohoo!
Woo! The Mosaic Fan Art.
That's hilarious.
Because at some point in time, there's going to be someone else that's going to start something, and it's going to be really close, like Mosaic Art of Fans, and just be right
probably. Who knows?
It will.
I do have an LLC. Does that count? I mean, I don't know. There's nothing trademarked. Maybe I don't even know how that works.
I don't either. Like I've got
irrelevant.
I'll
change my name.
I've got a copyright on Faith and Fandom, but like,
yeah, but didn't you say some dude come awful darn close to just do it? Like, nah, you might want to change that name.
And listen, I'm not saying that their stuff wouldn't be better, but I'm like 9 books deep in this thing. I don't think you want to do this, because you will be permanently associated. It's like that thing when they did the Ghostbusters, and then they had to come back and call it the real Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters.
So that is obviously a thing.
That's back when I was collecting skeletons, and I did have the skeleton from the Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters, but the Ghostbusters.
And there was a gorilla involved in that, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So
I was like, really? How's this the Ghostbusters? And I'd never heard of them in my life.
No, it was like it was like striking while the anvil's hot.
Yeah.
So everybody, we're going to do an Artist Alley Aftermath, which is where we kind of talk about how a con goes, the experience, being there, vending, doing stuff like that. This past week was LTN Con 2022, the first post-pandemic LTN Con. That was actually in person, and I did not get to go. I am deeply wounded in my soul.
Got that DJ thing going on.
Got a DJ thing. I DJ'd and I officiated.
There you go.
So
in the grand scheme of things, I think, Hector, you were in the right spot.
Yeah, but I'm tired of being in the right spot away from all the other people. But it's okay.
Amen, brother. You just got Ariel. I want to be where the people are.
And I say this with no shade to the wedding party or to the band, but the bride also had 26 Rascal Flatts songs in their playlist. So it's just like,
listen, man, that's what happens when life is a highway.
You will ride it all night long. So this was the first year LTN Con was back in person, and they had basically an artist alley. I don't know like how much of an alley it was.
A vendor area, exhibit. They called it the exhibit hall.
Okay. And so for those of you who don't know, LTN Love Thy Nerd is a organization that helps people, our nerdy neighbors, feel loved and meet Jesus.
Absolutely.
Through relationships, connections, discipleship, opportunities, and things like podcasts and twitching and cons and twitching, like
Discord,
Discords. But LTN has a variety of facets and options and how they reach folks in that capacity. And I've been a supporter of them for a long time. Todd is as well. And supporting the vision and mission of what they do. And the Pull List podcast that we do is also part of LTN. The weekly radio shorts I do are for LTN. I publish some stuff with them writing as well. So I believe in them. I support them. I'm down with them. I have the hoodie. But
me too. The old school hoodie.
Mine's seen better days. But at this point in time, I really would have loved to have been at the show, but Todd was there, and I love Todd and I love what Todd does. And so I was excited to hear how the show went for him. And so, might as well let everybody else hear how the show went for him as well. So overall, big picture, before I even break it down to art stuff and everything, how was your overall experience?
It was great. Honestly, I would do things different now, but you do this right after you're done. You're like, I would have done that different. But the overall experience was fantastic. I loved it. I had a great time. Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't, Thursday was set up. The con really didn't start until Friday and Saturday. But there was, for the Fellowship of the Nerd, which is basically members that donate. I don't know how that really works, but
Yeah, if you support the ministry in any capacity,
yeah, even if it's
financially.
just $1 a month or whatever, you're part of that. And they had a dinner, which consisted of tacos that had the juice had spilled out into Matt's car. That was that's hilarious.
I saw Matt just post today that there's still
Still
tacos.
tacos. There was a load of tacos. They were really tasty. I'm here to tell you. But yeah, so setup was Thursday. Then there was all day Friday, all day Saturday. They had a service at the church because it was at Sojourn Church in New Albany, Indiana. So there was a church service on Sunday that I didn't get to attend. I had to leave Saturday because my son surprised us and came home from school, and I wanted to spend time with my son and my wife. So
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, what I can talk. I can just talk forever if you want me to. All right.
So
I didn't know if you had specific questions.
I do, but I'm down to just let you talk too.
No, go ahead, Hector. Ask some questions.
So the other shows that you do primarily, I know you've done LTN Con, right? Is that the title for it?
I've done a Galaxy Con in Louisville. I've done Lexington, the LexCon twice, and I've done Cincinnati Comic and Expo. I've also had couple art exhibits at art galleries. I've had two that were just I had one and that was just all me. I had one for a month. My art was up in a big old school theater that they had an art area. I mean, it had 2 screens. It was like those gorgeous old movie theater where they in Lexington, and had my art up there and then we did an artist talk. And then I've had pieces that have been in California, Cleveland, Cincinnati, just wherever. But
you also had pieces that were recognized by Marvel and a piece recognized by DC. Look at you, just
I had a piece, a Batman piece that was on their DC fandom. Not last year, but the year before last.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Doctor Strange piece won first prize, which I came to find out is not the grand prize. So in the Multiverse of Madness fan art competition, which, by the way, Sam Raimi's going to be at LexCon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
And I was looking at LexCon, by the way. I'm already booked for GalaxyCon Richmond then.
Well, man, we're
Same
never going
time.
to see each other IRL. But as far as cons go, this was completely different. This was the first time I'd ever been to a convention where everyone is a member or has a vested interest in LTN. It was funny. I pulled up and I was like, gosh, I hope this isn't like the cereal convention. And
I had that thought. I
immediately went to the daggone Sandman thing going, oh, this could be creepy. But it wasn't. No, absolutely not. I was greeted lovingly by everyone there. Hugs all around. So yeah, it was different in that regard. I could leave my booth, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, walk over, say hi to somebody, and not worry about stuff being stolen, which is nice. Yeah.
I usually just leave a note. It's like, if you're going to steal something, just take the books.
Yeah, that's right.
So how, it was a different thing, it wasn't just like a vendor or celebrity driven event. How did that go for you? Like, how was your experience? Like, we'll talk more about the con as a whole, but how was your experience as like a vendor in the area? Because this was someone I would have absolutely set my stuff up. And I know I made Bubba sad because I said, hey, I'm thinking about supporting, and he's like, you're not coming? I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, I'm telling you, Hector. So like, as far as from sales points go,
sales are just the interactions with your art, in general.
Well, the interaction was great. It always is. Most people, the big art pieces are really just conversation starters,
right?
Where I get a chance to share what my passion is, which is basically the whole entire reason I'm there is very much the same reason why LTN exists. And I just take it a little bit differently because I take broken things and put them back together into a like a masterpiece, I would say, and it's basically, we're all broken, whether by things we've done, things people have done to us, whether it's physically, mentally, financially, but in the hands of the right creator, the right artist, we can become a new masterpiece better than the one that we already were. And so, so as far as what I do when I go to a con, my job is not to judge people or really beat people over the head with the gospel. My job is to catch people's eye, bring them in, then introduce them to my friend Jesus, and then let him do the rest. Right. So that's the whole purpose of the big art pieces. At LTN Con, the vast majority of the people there have already met my friend. And, so that was a little different. I didn't pass out hardly any of my little flyers, but I didn't need to, which is good because now I don't have to print them out for March. So in that regards, that was really cool. I really enjoyed people just coming up because a lot of people had seen the stuff. I post some stuff on, wherever I post stuff, and they are like, it's the same thing. Anybody who ever sees it in real life, they're like, oh, pictures don't do it justice. And I'm like, I know. Tell me about it. Maybe if Sam Raimi comes up out of his little hole on Friday or Saturday and looks at that piece and then goes, oh yeah, that should have won grand prize. But it's neat. Yeah. Everybody loved looking at it. We're just, I don't know. I don't like tooting my own horn and all that kind of garbage, but
this is an open invitation, and I've asked toot.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, it
be like
it was,
Doom, toot as you wish.
Toot as you wish. But everyone, I think, really enjoyed, looking at the pieces and seeing the different pieces. People loved Iron Man. Iron Man's 3D. I made a bunch of minis, which I call them, which are 8x8 mosaic pieces. I usually charge anywhere from 150 to 175 a piece for those, but for LTN Con, everybody got the friends and family price of $100.
Okay.
So yeah. And honestly, the funny thing was, I was telling Kathy, I was like, this is close. I didn't have to fly. I just drove there. I literally got up, made breakfast for Kathy and I, went and got a haircut, stopped by, picked up my comic books, and went on to New Albany and set up. But so I made these minis, and I was like, I'm going to make as many as I can. And I doubt I'll sell any, which is fine. That's not the reason I was going. I was going there just to, and then that's great. I won't have to make them for March. I already have them made because I got a wedding on February the 11th, my daughter, another wedding. And I sold them all, but 5. So I was like, man, that's a bummer. But no, it wasn't a bummer.
That means you've got a lot of work before March.
I know it. Stink. And the one that I haven't even finished yet, Chris Poyer's already called dibs on. So yeah.
Well, it's I did not pay attention to inventory at the last show that I did, and or 2 shows ago. So I got to the last show I did, which was in Hickory, North Carolina, and I started unboxing stuff, and I was out of the majority of my candles, and my candles are like,
those are your good sellers.
They're my good sellers, but they're like you said, they're my conversation pieces.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Because the average, even at a Comic-Con, the average person isn't a reader, per se, usually. But is that a candle shaped like a Death Star?
Oh yes.
And it's
exactly.
That's the draw. And it takes work to make them, but not crying about making them. But I had gotten there and I was dramatically like, oh no, I'm not remotely, I didn't bring enough stuff to this. And so I've spent the last 2 weeks making candles straight through, because I've got a show this weekend and then one on Black Friday weekend. So I'm just churning. And
I
then
am
Christmas too. So it's the week before Christmas.
goodness. I make the little ones because they usually pay for my booth,
Yeah.
you know. And they did. I mean, there was a suggested donation to set up as a vendor. And so there were probably 6 or 7 vendors. There was a lady next to me who made miniatures. Really cool. She has like dioramas up at the local schools and everything. I think her called was Mini Maple Studio. I can't remember. Her name was Donna. I bought one for my wife's play therapy, um, sand tray. There was Gilded Gray Land that was right next to me. They were from Oklahoma, and they're setting up very much like what Chris is doing down in Georgia. They're
Mm.
setting up a building that people can come play games and everything. Right now, they've run into some snags with building permits, so they've got all these games, and they thought, why don't we just load them up and take them to LTN? So they did. Then there were two or three. I would call them Christian game. There was something called I knew the name until I just started. One of them was like a card game very similar to Pokemon. But it was the guy had said his kids would just memorize everything on the Pokemon card. And so they were like Bible verse themed type characters. And then there was a card game called Deliverance. I'm butchering this because it's really not a card game. I'm not a gamer at all. Like I don't, my son calls me Todd. I'll watch Turner, hey, anybody want to play Catan? I'll watch. That's me. And and then they had a lady who made like ceramic cups and other type things there. And these people who did LAN parties, which I have no idea what that is. I still don't understand what that is, but I'm sure everybody out there does.
So just I think I can explain it easy. How some people play video games over the internet.
Yep.
A LAN party is that you hook all of your computers or systems directly to each other.
Got you. Okay.
So it's like a daisy chain of connection.
All right.
So everybody's playing on the same server in the same space.
Okay.
Like on old Nintendos and stuff, you could have 4 players.
Oh yeah. I know
It's
what you're
like
talking about.
it's like hooking up all your systems instead of screens.
Okay. Yeah. So they dealt with that. Then there was another card game. I can't remember the name of it either, but those were the main exhibits. I had a big space, but that's because I was like, as soon as they went live, I was like, boop, I just got it, donated, whatever, and so they were like, oh, Todd's already signed up. And like Matt's like, really? Is the signups even open yet? And Luke's like, yeah, he already did. So I was good. Because I really need 2 big tables.
Yeah.
It's like impossible for me to put my material up in just a 10 by 10 space. So this was pretty much 10 by maybe 16. It was about the space. 10,
I've never used that much space.
Yeah. I do 10 by 20 here. Whenever I can go somewhere, I try to do 10 by 20. It's nice, Hector, but it's more expensive, right?
Obviously,
It's way more expensive. So, everyone was extremely helpful. I got there. I was just by myself. I have messed my shoulder up something fierce. So just hauling, these things are heavy. I mean, they're not light, but I've got it down to a science moving these big mosaics in.
Just that little, I've got the My Hero one you gave me like up on my wall,
yeah.
and I'm like, that one's little and it's heavy.
Oh, yeah, that's 6 by 6.
Yeah.
So the Justice League probably I don't know, 100 pounds easy.
Oh gosh.
And it's monster. So not only is it heavy, if you drop it, they were extremely helpful. Andy helped me. I'll butcher his last name, but very kind. Everyone was there to help me move in if I needed to help move in and help me put my mosaics up and everything. And and it's really nice because I just drove up to the door and just hauled my stuff in, which for a regular con, it would take forever.
Yeah,
You know how that
loading
goes.
bays and all this
Yes.
stuff. Well, I've worked very hard in my uh what needs to actually go in mindset to get to the point where I can just load in straight on a one cart trip.
Oh,
Like all of my stuff, my entire booth fits on one cart stacked about 6 feet high. And I try and
I'm at a I'm at a minimum four trips, and then two of them I have to carry by hand. Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman and uh, Iron Man are just. And I'm really wanting to take my Spider Man to Lexington, but it's just he's only been out once.
yeah,
It is so cool, but I
it
don't
is
know.
cool.
And here's the deal: every time I take something, something gets broken, and it happened. I broke the Joker. I it's a third time or maybe the fourth time that I've broken the Joker. Um, it's funny because my son and Kathy, my wife, Nathan and Kathy, Nate and Kath, they both came to on Saturday and helped me until my wife realized that there was a shoe outlet in Louisville and left to go check that out. But anyway, so I was like, we got to be careful because the Joker's got, it's got a corner busted. And Nathan's like, that always happens. I said, well, actually, this is the other corner. So I've busted at least two. I thought I've done all four now. And then you just take it apart, clean it up, glue it back down, regrout it, and it's stronger than ever. So it's no big deal. You just fix it. It's
It's
broken anyway to begin with.
all it takes is a little push.
Yeah. Every time, it's amazing. My anxiety, I have anxiety, but I walk away from that and then like at night and then just, I don't even think about it and then come back. I mean, I could come back and it could all have just fallen to the ground, but oh, well, it's all right.
The
God
glass
will
is
use whatever.
forgiving.
Glass is very forgiving. You just glue it back on, you know? So yeah, I had a great space. Left my banner, but other than that,
Well, it's not too far. Do you think somebody will get it to you, or you can?
I've got to go up to see. My son is in the play Clue,
Oh yeah,
in Terre Haute, and so I'm going to drive by New Albany twice. Once getting there, and then once coming back. And I've already stopped on Sunday night and pick it up, so no big
sweet.
deal. Yeah.
So, as a as on a vendor level, and I'm asking this just for like wisdom, not like
Mhm.
a critical way. What would you have done anything different? Like if you were organizing vendor space, or would things to improve or anything like that?
Not for me. I thought it was piece of cake, honestly. Move in, move out was great. The space was good. My only issue, honestly, for me was the lighting. But I have a eye issue anyway. So unless I have a real high lit area, it's hard for me to see. Um, but I mean, you're inside a church place where normally it's set up with the coffees there. You know what I'm talking about? So
Right.
there was plenty of light for everybody else. That has nothing to do with, that's just my own, you know, my inability for my eyes to work right. But uh, as far as from a vendor standpoint, no, it was great. Piece of cake. Um, they had definite hours of when it started, when it ended, when the vendor space, when you could move in, the email was good. This is where you can set up from this time to this time or this time to this time. And then the exhibit hall will be open from this to this. So as a vendor, that was great. As a participant, I screwed up on that. So I really paid more attention to the vendor info and didn't even realize that, oh, wait, there's stuff that happens after the exhibit hall ends, which makes sense because any other con that ends at like 7, there's still stuff that goes on all night, you know? So, and actually Friday night and Thursday, I stayed in while people did gaming and everything. Like I stayed and just worked on a mosaic, um, but I missed the ability to do some breakout sessions and stuff like that because I didn't read the attendee stuff. They
On a
kept
real
saying,
scale, I barely read the vendor stuff. So, um,
no, I
like
read it. I have it like memorized.
the show I'm doing on Saturday is near Savannah, Georgia, and they let
Is that the one that they just started a couple years ago?
yeah. Well, there's a few that started a couple years ago, so don't let me say it's that one, but
Well, now there was one I thought that you might have went to. I can't remember. I was listening to a guy. I can't remember where. Anyway, go ahead, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
a friend of mine just started one a couple years ago, and at this point they're doing it smaller than they started out with, because they swung for the fences like as big as you possibly can on your first show, like celebrity, space, all of everything, and they've scaled down a little bit. And so for vendors and artists, he doesn't charge for booth space.
Oh,
Like you can just roll up, like as long as you sign up while there's room, you can just go. And so that's great. But this is like, it's like you're heading to Savannah and then you take a hard right turn into a cornfield. And it's just like, you don't, like, you're not near a city at all. Like there's not even a hotel within 15-20 minutes of,
okay.
so
Yeah, but
like,
if you're not paying a booth space,
right.
it's not. I mean, that's nice.
And so like I'm going down there for that. And like last year I did it and I didn't read any of the information. And I showed up and I was supposed to have brought my own table.
Oh, nice.
So he shot me a message like this week. He's like,
Like,
hey,
don't forget your table.
he's like and you know, I don't know if he's really sent it to everybody or he just copied and pasted to make it look like he was sending everybody, but he's like, hey, valued vendor, don't forget this. Like, you just sent this to me and didn't want to call me out.
Nice.
But no, that's good.
Luke sent a message. Do you need anything extra? I mean, it was really nice. I mean, I was like, I'd like 2 tables and 2 chairs. And then when you get there, it's like, you can have many chairs as you want. I mean, it's like a church, right? Just go
Yeah.
grab another chair. It wasn't a big deal, but had 2 tables there, had 2 chairs, had, and didn't even use the tables, honestly. I just pushed them back and covered them up because they had something else on the wall that I could put my mosaics on. Everybody was like, oh, I don't know if I would trust that. And I'm like, this thing that you've got bolted to the wall is more sturdy than that table. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So outside, I know you said you missed some stuff out on the participation level. Was there any other stuff that you saw that you like, or any experiences at the con you enjoyed?
Oh yeah. I loved, the speaker was great. Jacqueline, I
Yeah.
don't want to butcher her last name. I think it's Parrish. I could be wrong. Very good speaker. Had a lot to say about, you know, loving nerds and of that nature. The thing I enjoyed most though was communion with
Okay.
everyone there.
Oh, I bet that was dope.
It was really cool. And Bubba, they were like, just, I don't want you to do this by yourselves. I want you to pick 2 or 3 people and just get together and have communion together. And that's what we did. 2 people I'd never met before. Who one of them I accidentally tried to call on Discord because I don't know how to use Discord because I'm an old guy. But anyway, like 3 times I hit the call button. I'm trying to turn it off and it's like ding 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 ding. I'm like, well. Anyway, so that was good. And just meeting people in person, listen to Bubba and Matt talk to one another and speak in front of a crowd. They're really good at it. I mean, how they just go off of one another. Well done. And Radio Matt, he interviewed me. I don't know if it'll be on the radio or what the deal is. I don't know if it'll be on their YouTube channel or whatever, but
If Radio Matt did it, it'll be on like everything down to like the back of a cereal box because he's good.
Gotcha.
He's
and
good at that.
He's fantastic, honestly. So I really enjoyed that, and just the whole everyone it was just, it's hard to explain, but it was like a little slice of heaven, honestly. Honestly. It wouldn't surprise me to see Jesus and the 12 disciples playing Catan in the corner, and while everybody else was there. I say Catan because that's the only name of a board game I know. Sorry. I did win 2 board games.
Congratulations.
Super Camelot, no clue what it is. And then I don't even remember the name of the other one. But anyway, yeah. I will be all the hit at Thanksgiving when I take it to my extended family for the game playing portion of the Thanksgiving fiesta.
Nice. I play the Pokemon trading card game with my 9-year-old, and that's about my most advantageous gaming. Like, I'll probably do that as soon as this is over. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I'm at.
I definitely was there is a huge emphasis on gaming, on creating community through playing board games, which I get, because that's how you get to know people when you spend 4 hours or 8 hours. I did play Hero Clicks.
I did play
Hero Clicks. And first time I ever had to roll dice for anything in my life. The first time I rolled double ones. The guy, Lee, was like, "Oh, no, don't worry about it. Let's just roll again." I did it again. I was like, "This is not good, is it?" He's like, "No, this is pretty bad. I can't believe you've rolled double ones twice." I was like, oh, well, anyway. But yeah, there's a big emphasis in gaming, which I totally understand. And considering that LTN, I guess, spawned from Game Church, mm-hmm. which is what, so I missed the comic book talk, honestly. I did miss that.
You were texting me about comics while you were at the show, and I'm like,
he's lonely.
It's like, I
took my entire pool. I took one of everything from my pool list, and that was a big box.
Yeah.
And but oh well. It was interesting.
I was just gonna say, when you text me about the comics, I was like, there's nobody there to talk about comics with right now.
There were a couple, honestly. There were several. But everybody's doing their own thing, and they're doing playing games and going to breakout sessions. And so yeah, but that was cool. I totally enjoyed it.
Good, man. So
it was fun asking people what their favorite fandom was.
Yeah.
That was good. And I tell you what surprised me was that, like, people didn't know, like, things that I thought everyone would know. First of all, how do you not know who my friend Hector is? You need a devotional for geeks for middle school, grade school, or not middle school, high school, just anything that's geek. You don't know about faith and fandom? I'm like, how do you not know about that? I'm like, I gave him a book away, and then I was like, well, I got to just go to his website, Faith and Fandom. But there's a lot of people out there who are looking for resources, and I was shocked that they didn't know, but I was spreading the love. So,
well, good. And that's the thing. I planned on sponsoring. I planned on stuffing the bags. Like, my original plan when I knew I couldn't go was like, you know what? I'm going to pay to stuff the bags, and I'm going to put a book in every bag.
Oh, wow. That would have been pricey.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't mean this in a negative. I just thought, there'll be like 40 people there.
120, I think. 140, something like that. I'm thinking, gosh, that's $1,500.
Yeah. And that's just like, no, that's a horrible life choice. I can't do that right now. And then I was going to do stickers, but then, like, just with my daughter in marching band and everything else, it's just like, it's been a crazy season.
I love marching band.
But hopefully if they've already got a date for the next one or something, I'm going to go ahead and just.
Well, here's the deal. Are you ready for it?
Yeah. Let's go.
So next, they're doing something different. As of right now, the plan is to do a LTN summit, which is basically an equipping ministry type style. And then the next year do a con. So the plan is for the summit to be next fall, and then the con will be the spring of the following year. So you're talking spring of 2024 if Jesus doesn't come back. That's the plan.
It's good to diversify.
Yeah, the summit's going to be in Texas. I'm not for sure. I don't think they have a plan. They do realize that. I think they were saying that they've outgrown that. I don't think they expected that many people to be there, honestly.
No. Oh, and that one, which is why I was planning on being able to stuff bags.
Mhm.
But yeah,
But I
they
thought it was done real well. I mean, it didn't feel crowded. I thought it, I thought it had a great feel, honestly.
that's good, man.
Mhm.
All right. Well, any other closing remarks about the con you'd want to throw out there?
No, man, read more comics. That's what you guys all say. I mean, I'm just pushing the comic books, but I do believe I was the old guy there. Honestly,
Oh,
I was 100%. I was the old guy, the grandpa, LTN Gramps. Um, uh, no, I had an absolute blast. I love getting to meet people, talk to people. I did sort of set myself up to win at the um to sell my minis because I did go on, on the Love Thy Nerd Facebook and say, what would you guys like to see? And then I was like, all right, as long as I like it, I'll make it. But, if it's like, I don't think so, then I won't do it. But yeah, so that was a good thing, just asking what would you like? And then I made some that I liked and they didn't sell. But anyway,
it'd
yeah.
be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind. That's why that's the big Kathy was like, anybody interested in the big one? I said, they're all interested in the big ones. Interested isn't doesn't equal dollar signs, but
No.
it, it it
Well,
is what it is.
there's an artist that I've enjoyed that I met him at my first con, and it took me 7 years to even get a $300 piece from him.
Mm.
Like I saw
Because
this
he was because of a money factor or because he was so busy
bit of
or a little
both.
both. Yeah,
More on the money, like of just like I wasn't in a place I could drop 300 on a single piece.
I understand.
And then it was just like when I finally did say, okay, here's what I want. Then it took 9 months.
For him to do it and get it to you.
Yeah. So it's just like,
Well, my first Comic Con was 2018 in Cincinnati, and a guy saw the piece that DC put up on their fandom. The basically it was just it's the bad signal up in the sky at the end of the Adam West TV show.
right.
That's what it was, and he really liked it. He said, "I really want to get that." I'm like, "Well, it's for sale." Um, Spring of last year, 2021. Yeah. He sends me a message on Instagram, says, "Is that still for sale?" I was like, "Yeah." All right, I want it. And he bought it. So 3 years later.
What's and the artist that I got that painting from, like he told me at the last show I saw him over the summer, he said, I'm done doing commissions like this on this scale, because he does whole building murals now and stuff for
Oh yeah.
cities and colleges and everything else. And I was like, can I get one more? And like a full size painting. And I was like, and I want it of the rap group Outcast. And he's like, just keep reminding me. So like every couple weeks I send him a gif of Outcast like dancing, like just be like, don't forget.
I'm going to send you after we get off here. I'll show you one of the artists that I see all the time. He's here local and he does amazing paintings.
Hmm.
You have to take a look at his stuff. Anyway.
So I say thanks to Matt and Bubba and Luke and Radio Matt and Tyranny and everybody else that just did such a great job
Oh, it was
putting
fantastic.
putting the con on. Y'all did
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. And so 2024, let's look for the next LTN Con if that's when it's going down, or see you at the LTN Summit sooner. Or
Yeah.
sweet. Well, Todd, thank you for taking your first day off in a month.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. I love
chat
it.
with me. And tell Kathy I appreciate her time sacrifice too of time
All
with
right.
you.
I will. I'll
All
tell
right.
her.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening, for watching. If you're watching this, you can listen to it on the Faith and Fandom podcast channel over at faithandfandom.podbean.com. If you're listening to this there, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube, and different areas with that as well. And just want to say thanks, and read more comics. The glass is forgiving,
The
and
glass is forgiving.
and
It's broken anyway.
it's
We'll just put it back together.
there you go.
And yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody.